y'all? Welcome back to another solo episode of the Watch Us Thrive podcast. This is your host, Leanne, and we're going to have a conversation today. You guys can see the title of this episode, Sis, You Know You've Healed When. This is a very impromptu conversation. This is something that literally has just happened to me today, which is why it's still fresh in my head and why I want to have this conversation. For those of you who have been around since the beginning, you know my story. If you don't know my story, I'm going to link my survivor story of domestic violence in the show notes so you guys can check it out. But this conversation is going to be around my own healing journey from that abusive relationship and how I know in this season, in this chapter of my life, I am healed. There's always healing work that comes with life, but in this very moment, I can celebrate that I am no longer the person that I was in that relationship. And I want to encourage people to know that this healing journey, like I said, it's never ending. There's always ebbs and flows, ups and downs, but you are going to reach a point in your life when you know you're no longer affected in the same way by a person who once hurt you, tried to break you, or even tried to end you. I was in an abusive relationship, and in this year, I'm going to make 4 years since I left that abusive relationship, since I've really taken time to heal from that, to really be intentional with the way that I'm healing, to no longer repeat patterns that the old version of myself did. And I'm just celebrating my growth today in this moment. I want to bring you guys along with me on that journey. So let's get started. So how did we get here? Where do I even begin? Today on social media, I have been extremely social and I was posting a lot, especially on my stories. If you don't follow me at Watch Us Thrive Podcast, link below. I came across 2 separate domestic violence stories that unfortunately ended with the victim losing her life. Whenever I come across content like that, it's very triggering for me. Not triggering in a way that I feel like I'm regressing in my healing, but triggering in a way that I want to talk about it. I want to put it in your face. I want to have the uncomfortable conversation. I'm very much someone who is comfortable with saying the quiet part out loud. I then went to a website that I used to use to see if I could find my ex's criminal record. And when I went on the website, putting in the information that I used years ago, nothing came up. It was like his criminal record from that specific website completely disappeared. And I was like, well, that's fucking weird because I know that he has a criminal history dating back to at least 2007. Several different charges. But for this particular website, I couldn't find him anymore. Okay, cool. The little voice inside of me said, just try Googling his name. You haven't done that in a very long time. You know, he's out of prison now. You know, he's living life again. He's back being a member of society. Just Google his name. So that's what I did. And the first thing that came up was his Facebook account. Now I know his name and I know that the Facebook account that I originally had no longer exists because that was prior to the end of the relationship, prior to him getting arrested, prior to him spending 4 years in prison. So when I saw his name and I saw the page, I was like, oh, he's back. Of course, curiosity got the best of me and I clicked on the account and I saw a few pictures, some of the same ones that he used years ago on that fucking dating app where me and him met. Embarrassing. And then I saw that he's engaged to a new woman. And I was like, ooh, who is this? Clicked on her page, saw who she was. And I was like, oh, this is a new person. I never saw her before. And then I ended up going on his Instagram because when I Googled his name, his Facebook came up and then his Instagram. As I was just scrolling and looking and just listening, I realized how I was not triggered. And it was surprising to me. I didn't get that feeling in the pit of my stomach. My heart didn't stop. It didn't skip a beat. I didn't feel panicked. I had no anxiety. The only feeling that I felt was disgust. And I was like, oh, this is a different feeling. This is a different feeling that I have not felt towards him before. I've gotten to this point in previous relationships. One relationship ended, it's almost 6 years since I ended the one before him. I left him in 2019. We're now in 2025. But I had not gotten to this point with this particular relationship. So when I saw him and when I heard his voice and I didn't react in the way that I thought I would, I was like, yes, bitch. That's how I know that I've healed. that is what today's conversation is going to be based around. I do have some notes that I want to talk about, but I really want to speak about the growth journey and how it can look for people. This is my own personal experience, but I'm always going to give you guys some tools, tips, and also some guided journaling prompts at the end of this conversation in order to see where you are at when it comes to your own healing journey from whatever it is that you're trying to heal from. I specifically talk about relationships, so that's what we're going to talk about. I want to be clear when I say that getting to this level of healing, it does not happen overnight, sis. Okay? It takes deep inner work. It takes so much self-reflection, and it takes you having a very true sense of self-love. So in today's conversation, I'm going to break down what true healing actually looks and feels like and how you can get there too. That's the most important piece. Of course, I like to share my little stories, my little anecdotes, but I want to help you get to the point that I am today. So the first part of the conversation we're going to talk about is what true healing feels like. Let me break down what this means, because healing is not about pretending that it didn't happen. It's not about faking your strength or putting on that mask or just like, I don't give a fuck him, he don't mean shit. That's not healing, babe. There are 4 different qualities, in my personal opinion, that really facilitate what true healing feels and looks like. So this is number 1, emotional neutrality. You can hear his name, you can see his face, you can listen to his voice. You can go to the places that you and him used to hang out. Anything that sparks a memory, and you don't feel that heart-racing, gut-wrenching, anxiety, anxious, nauseous feeling, right? You don't feel angry. You don't feel sad. You don't feel all of these feelings that's completely normal in the healing journey. But when you reach a point where there's just indifference, right? When I saw his name and I saw his picture, I saw that he's engaged. I saw that he has a new victim. I heard his voice. I didn't feel anything but disgust. It was just like, ew, that's who I was attracted to. That's a little bit embarrassing, but I hold space, grace, and compassion for the old version of myself because I needed to go through that in order to become the woman that I am today. You are no longer emotionally tied to that person. There's no more emotion. There's no more upset. That was a part of my past. Doesn't affect me anymore. So that's number 1, okay? Another sign of what true healing feels like, there's no need for revenge. There's no need for validation. You don't need to get your lick back like the young folks be saying. Healing means you don't feel the urge to prove anything to him or to anyone else. You're not looking to show him what he lost because you're too focused on what you have gained. Let me say that again. You're not looking to show him what he lost because you're too focused on you. You don't give a fuck. That was a part of my past. That was for the old version of myself. I don't have to worry about wishing bad on him. I don't wish him anything. I don't wish you well. I don't wish you malice. I wish you nothing. You mean nothing to me, sir, because I know that you are going to reap what you sow, because I am divinely protected and my God knows I am one of his chosen children, and I am safe always because I'm a good person with a good heart. And I know the type of piece of shit person you are, and I know that karma has already reaped what he is sowing. Okay? It's already happening. I see it. It's happening already. And I can only smile, not because I feel vindicated, but because I know that's what you deserve. Because I was such a good person to you and you didn't appreciate that. So now look. Oh well. Number 3, you have empathy without attachment. You can feel empathy for, say he has a new partner, like my ex, he's newly engaged, and you feel like you don't need to warn, fix, or intervene. I'm never going to come to another woman with the message of, hey, I'm coming to you as a woman. I will never, ever, ever, ever open up that can of worms. 1, because I just know the domino effect that would cause, and it would be nothing but negative for me. I no longer associate myself with my past. I hold space and compassion for that version of myself. I never want to be her ever again. She played a role for a season in my life, but the woman that I am today, I'm never going to reach out to someone else. Even if I start dating and I find out that, hey, he has a girlfriend or he's married or whatever, I'm just going to remove myself. We're not going back and forth. I'm not arguing with you. I'm gone. It's like I'm a ghost. Poof. I'm fucking gone. And that's how you know you're truly healing, because you trust that your growth is separate from those choices. And honestly, that's really also, if you think about it, that person still having power and control over you, because you feel like, I gotta fix, I gotta save. Oh, I gotta make sure that she knows what he did to me. Baby girl, when it comes to abusers, when it comes to men who have a history of being violent towards other people, unfortunately, because the justice system, it is not set up in a way to protect victims, and it is set up in a way to basically just slap the perpetrator on the wrist until it gets to the point where a life is lost. Unfortunately, I know in my heart that she's going to, if she hasn't already, experience that type of behavior with him. I don't wish her the best either. I don't wish her the worst. It's above me now. Give it to God. And God will always come through for you. But that's not my responsibility. And that's how I know I'm healing. Lastly, you feel disgust without an emotional charge. Feeling disgusted is not the same as being triggered. It's recognizing how much better you've done since breaking free from the bullshit. Have you had that moment yet when you realize that you truly have let go? And if you have not, now I'm going to talk about how to get to that level of healing. How the fuck do you get there? Sis, I'm going on year 4. Year 4 of being single, celibate, healing, not dating, no distractions, focused on Leanne. This type of healing doesn't just happen. You do not just press a magic button and poof, you're fucking healed and now I'm gonna be the baddest bitch in the world. I wish it was like that, but that's not how it is. Healing takes time, effort, and a lot of deep inner self-work. So here's how you can get to the point where you feel nothing but peace when looking back at your past. Number 1, you have to face your pain head on. Healing is not about ignoring what happened. It is about processing the hurt, the betrayal, and the trauma fully so it no longer controls you. You can journal. You can seek out professional help, like hiring a coach like myself, going to therapy, finding a support group. I did a lot of that in the beginning. I went to a lot of group DV sessions, as well as individual therapy healing, as well as I worked with 4 different life coaches in these last 4 years. I did a lot, and I'm still doing a lot. Having that support system is so important for you to be able to unpack those emotions in a safe, secure way. Because especially in the beginning, sis, sitting in the shit, sitting in the pain, sitting in the trauma, it's so fucking hard. And I have done that so much that I have now reached the point where I can tell my story without crying, where I can see a picture of my ex, or I can hear his voice and not feel like I'm going to break down and cry and just lose myself like I felt so lost in the beginning. So the first step, and it's never going to change when it comes to working with me as a coach, the first step to any part of healing from whatever it is that you're trying to heal from is acceptance and awareness. We have to be aware of where we are right now, so that way we can start slowly working our way back up and rebuilding a better version of ourselves. Second thing you need to do in order to get to this new level of healing, detach from their story. Their choices, their meaning the other person, your ex, their karma, the next victim, it is not your responsibility anymore. Healing means focusing on your story, not theirs. Take away the power that this person still has over you and start putting and pouring that back into self. Remove them from your narrative from this time, in this moment, and then slowly you can start to integrate them back when you start to share your story like I am right now. But it's not your responsibility anymore, so fucking let it go, okay? Let it go. Number 3. Release the need for closure. The closure that you need came from the disrespect that you experienced, came from the lying, it came from the cheating, it came from the abuse. That is the only closure that you need. Hear me when I say this. Stop waiting for an apology or the perfect ending, okay? This is not a storybook, princess, Disney film. No, this is your real life. This is your real situation. And I need you to know that healing does not come from words, sis. He can tell you I'm sorry until he's blue in the fucking face. But if the next moment that he turns around and he puts his hands on you again, he's not sorry. It's not a mistake. It is a choice and a pattern. And you need to leave. Period, point blank. Healing comes from choosing self. Number 4, I need you to establish boundaries with your past. Stop stalking his Instagram. Now, I wasn't stalking today. I was just curious. As soon as I saw everything that I needed to do, I blocked him on all of my accounts. I blocked her all of my accounts. And I told my daughter, block him because I don't want any one of us to accidentally click something, like something, press a follow button. I want nothing to do with him. I just had to see that for myself in order to get to this next level of healing, even though I feel like I've already been there for a minute now. But seeing this today gave me the validation, gave me the closure that I needed. So I'm done. I will never Google his name again. If for whatever reason his name does pop up in a news article, I see him in a headline, that'll be the next time that I will search for it. But right now in this moment, I'm good. So no more stalking, okay? Block him and everyone that's associated with him. Stop checking up on his life, okay? That is a boundary that you need to set with your past. There is no good that comes from keeping one foot in the past. Unfollow his mother. Stop keeping up with his bestie, seeing if he's in the background of one of her stories. Don't do that because you're only breaking your heart and you're only prolonging the healing that needs to happen. You need to cut off all contact and communication. That's why people say go no contact. That is one of the first rules in my coaching program. You're going to go no contact, sis, and it's going to suck. It is going to hurt you so much in the beginning, but I promise you it is only for your greatest good, and it's only for you to protect your peace, because right now you need to focus on self, and worrying about what he's doing and what Fulana is doing and all the other people are doing, you're only stunting your own growth. So stop and set some motherfucking boundaries, okay? Lastly, most importantly, once you've done step 1 through 4, you're gonna shift the focus to you. Rebuild your life in a way that feels so powerful, so fulfilling, that you're not even worried about him anymore, sis. This is about self-love. This is about healing. This is about focusing on self. I want you to create some new goals, get some new hobbies, make some new friends, get out the motherfucking house every once in a while, get off the dating apps, because that's just another distraction that you don't need right now, and find healthy relationships that will remind you of how far you have actually come. I think that is why it is so important to implement some sort of gratitude practice in your healing journey, because we can get so caught up on hitting a goal. And when we haven't reached said goal, we can start to internalize that, beat ourselves up, feel like we're not moving fast enough. So take small little steps along the way to celebrate your growth. A great way that I do, every single year, I do a gratitude jar. This is for 2025. I have to add this today, this next level of healing that I experienced. But any single time that something joyous or something fulfilling happens to me, no matter how big or small it is, I write it on a Post-it note and I put it in this jar. And at the end of this year, I'm going to dump them all out and I'm going to read back of what a fucking amazing year I had. So start to implement some sort of practice in your healing journey on when you feel called to celebrate yourself. Do that shit. Write a love letter to yourself. I literally had a client last week. She was telling me about a lot of the things that she was going through, a lot of the situations that she was dealing with her relationship, and how she's really struggling with self-love and confidence. So I said, okay, so we need to start working on the way that you talk to yourself, because a lot of the times we're really mean to ourselves. So I want you to take some time out of your week, pick a day that you're going to sit down and literally write a love letter to yourself, bigging yourself up, telling yourself all the amazing things that you're so proud of, that you've accomplished, all of the things that you still want to do, but you're just so proud of no longer being that old version of yourself. Try to do that yourself if you're listening or if you're watching. Give yourself some fucking flowers, sis, and stop being so goddamn mean to yourself. This is all about self. We are letting go of the past, we're focusing on the present, and we are working towards the future. I want you to ask yourself this question. What's one boundary you've set that has helped you break free from your past? For me, big one that I always do at the end of a relationship, no contact. I'm blocking you. The ex before this last one, the 9-year-long relationship I talk about a lot too, when that relationship was done, like there was no going back, I blocked him, his mother, his sister, all of the friends that I made through him, everyone who was associated with that man, I removed them from my life. That was my boundary that I needed at that time, and I still do practice that to this day. When I'm done with you, maybe it's a Virgo thing, maybe it's just the person that I am thing, but I want nothing to do with you. I completely wipe you from my memory. Not my memory, because the memories will always be there, but I wipe you from my existence because I'm no longer focusing on you. I'm focusing on me now. That's the attitude that I want you to try to adapt in this new year. If you're not quite there yet when it comes to this new level of healing, that is okay too. I said in the beginning, everyone's journey is different. This is my own personal journey. We're going into year 4. So this is, even though 4 years is not a long time, it's also a really fucking long time. Healing is not linear, and we all move at our own pace. So here are some signs you might still be healing from whatever situation it is that you're trying to heal from. And these are signs that you're still healing, okay? Number 1, don't tussle, because I know some of y'all are sensitive. You still stalking and checking his social media. You feel triggered, then that means I'm talking to you, sis. If you're still keeping tabs, that's a sign that there's still some emotional residue that's left to process. Now, I'm not knocking you, sis. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. We need to be self-aware. We need to know where we are so we can start to finally move on. Little by little, but we need to move on. 2, you feel triggered when you hear his name, see his picture, hear his voice. If hearing about him stirs up anger, anxiety, or sadness, there is still healing work that needs to be done. And again, that is okay. This is a judgment-free zone. We listen and we don't judge. This time, I'm not judging you because I've been you. Number 3, you're fantasizing about what-if scenarios. You're wondering, has he really changed? If you should have stayed. No, you shouldn't have. Let me answer that question for you right now. You made the right decision, and I need you to stand on fucking business, okay? These are signs that you're still emotionally attached to that relationship, and it's okay. There's just some more healing work that needs to be done. Number 4, you feel the need to want to warn the new girl. Don't be the I'm coming to you as a woman, because then I'm judging you. I'm listening and I'm judging. But hear me out, especially for my empaths, my fellow empaths, I get it. While your heart might be in the right place, this often comes from unhealed pain. Your growth is not tied to saving someone else. Let go of the Mother Teresa, Jesus, Savior, I need to fix him, save him complex. We're done with that. We're not Betty the fucking Builder anymore. And I've done many podcast episodes talking about that. There's no more of that shit. Move the fuck on. Permission granted to move the fuck on. Lastly, you are struggling with self-worth post-breakup. If you're questioning your value after leaving, it's a sign to focus on rebuilding the relationship with yourself. Not rebuilding the relationship to get him back. No. We're not going backwards in 2025 and beyond. Right here, right now in this moment, if you're still struggling with the healing journey, I need you to acknowledge that. I need you to know it's okay. And I need you to know that it's time for you to start pouring into self. Stop worrying about that dusty ass motherfucker. It is okay if you're still healing. And if you are ready to commit doing the work, I'm going to share some guided journaling prompts in order for you to dig deeper to reflect on your own healing journey, okay? So listen to it, pause it, write it down, rewind it again if you need to hear it. If you're watching on YouTube, I'm going to have the question written out for you, but I really want you to take some time in order for you to really really answer these questions honestly. So I love guided journaling prompts because journaling is great. Sometimes when you're just writing whatever, it can just feel all over the place, and there's times and places for that. But when it comes to guided journaling, it helps you focus on the specific topic at hand. Number 1. What limiting belief am I holding on to that's keeping me emotionally connected to my past? Number 2. What boundaries do I need to set to protect my peace moving forward? And number 3, how can I celebrate my personal growth even if I'm not fully healed yet? These questions can help you start shifting the focus back to self and your healing journey, and is taking the power away from that past relationship. I hope you guys really enjoyed this conversation. I just want to remind you that healing isn't about pretending that the pain never happened. It is about reaching the point where it no longer controls you. If you're still in that process, be gentle with yourself. Stop being so fucking mean to yourself, because healing takes time. You will get there. I promise you, sis, you're going to get there. If you are committed to prioritizing yourself this year, and you need a little bit of help and support, I want to offer you to book a free discovery call with me using the link below. And let's have a chat and see if my 90-day breaking free coaching program is for you. In this transformative program, you're going to learn how to heal your past relationship wounds, how to rebuild unstoppable and unshakable self-worth. You're going to learn how to set and enforce those healthy boundaries that you might not have right now, but that's okay. And you're going to finally break free from emotional triggers for good. I want you to stop waiting. Stop waiting for the perfect time to focus on you. Stop waiting for the perfect time to heal. We can do this together. So visit the link below. You can learn more about my coaching program and book your free discovery call. Literally, it's a 30 to 45 minute conversation. You tell me a little bit about what's going on with you. I tell you a little bit of how I can help you. We draw up a contract. You submit your payment, and we work together for 3 months. And there's a lot more that comes with the coaching program. You guys can visit the landing page to learn more about that. I want y'all to remember to please, please, please stop staying stuck on the past. Healing is a never-ending journey. There's going to be bad bitch days and sad girl days, and that's okay. But I promise you, you're going to get to the point like I have today where you feel nothing. You might be a little embarrassed. You might be disgusted. You might be like, ugh. Major fucking cringe. And I want that for every single one of you, because I promise you there's a beautiful life for you to live after dealing with a lot of the bullshit that you dealt with in the past. Okay? I really hope you enjoyed this conversation. Leave me a rating and review. Let me know what your biggest takeaway was from this conversation. Share with your bestie. Share with anyone who needs to hear this conversation. And stay tuned for more amazing solo episodes to come, along with, my guest episodes. Those are coming back too. But I really felt inspired today to have this conversation, which is why I plugged up my mic and I said, fuck it, we gonna talk about it. This is your girl, Leanne of the Watch Us Thrive podcast. Keep glowing, growing, and thriving. Love you. Bye.